Welcome to LaChance Encounters. I'm your host, Alex LaChance. Please like, subscribe, follow. Every different platform has their own little things, but anything you can interact with on the podcast, comments, if you're looking at this on social media, whatever it is, share, comment, like. It really helps more people see it and helps get our guests much more exposure. And I appreciate all the people who are already doing that, but I need more of you. Today, I am here with Fallon Rae from Pillar Gallery, and this was a very late minute booking, and I did no research at all. I am not visually artistic. I've dabbled in music, but I'm bad at that too. I always say I'm not an artist. Nick over here will disagree with me because I've done stand-up comedy, a little acting. He's like, you're a creative. You are a creative person. I don't feel it, but especially visual art. So you're going to have to talk to me like I'm five, and kind of guide me through it, through what you do. We were talking a little bit. I know at one point you had a physical brick and mortar. I did see it. Looks like you have a gallery display at Kimball Jenkins in Concord right now.
Yep.
So give me the bird's eye view. What is it that you do, and how do you get there?
Yeah. So thanks for definitely having me on. I am the owner and the co-founder of Pillar Gallery and Projects. We did have a brick and mortar space, and we do currently have a print exhibition at Kimball Jenkins, which is an estate up in Concord. They're also an art school. So we have a great opportunity to have a kind of a satellite opportunity for exhibiting art. So it includes 10 printmakers from New England. But yeah, so kind of lost my track.
So when you say printmakers, I'm picturing, like, I remember doing this. You put like ink on something and then press it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like a you carve something. I remember doing in art class when I was in school. So I guess I do have some visual art background that I don't remember until right this moment.
It's in like the back part of your mind somewhere. I always find that with everybody, they're like, "I'm not an artist. I'm not this. I'm not that." I'm like, I still even tell myself that. And I feel like it's almost like an imposter syndrome. And
sometimes it's the better you get at something, the more you feel it, because you start being around people that are on higher levels, and it just never. It's hard for that to go away.
Definitely, most definitely. And so with these printmakers, like, I've learned so much about printmaking. That's the best part about curating. I'm an artist myself, but seeing so many different types of art making, even within one genre. Printmaking, I did just think of it like lino cutting, which is where you're just kind of you take like a linoleum block or some type of wood block, and you just press it onto something. But I've been learning so much about jelly printing and about silk screen and cyanotypes. And
I've done some silk screening too.
Yeah. Look at you. Oh my God. You're like, oh, I just have a whole bunch of stuff in the back.
Yeah. In 2001, I had a band, and we were playing our first show. The night before, I was like, wow, we should really have stuff to sell. So I went to Michael's and got a cheap screen printing kit. Made the screen myself. And it was supposed to be block letters, but it just didn't adhere right to the screen. But it ended up being this like cool looking, like jagged font, like almost like a blood splattery.
Oh, that's so
font.
cool.
It just came out that way. And I think I only ended up doing like 10 or 15 of them. I don't know if they even exist. I mean, this was 24 years ago now.
You got to save. You have to try to dig that up somewhere.
I don't think I kept one for myself, unfortunatally, which is a bad. I played in bands for like 20 years, and that was a bad habit of not keeping.
See, that's a true artist, though. That's a true artist. Give your stuff away to other
people. This is great that you're exposing me as a fraud of saying I'm not an artist, which is what Nick's been trying to do. But yeah, I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
Oh no.
But you the gallery thing. It's like you said, as a curator, but that's kind of an art itself too, is putting together, curating it so that it's a collection that makes sense together, right? Because if you walk through, I don't know that I've really walked through art gallery. I guess I have, but I'm picturing more musions. It's like you go into
that's an art gallery, though.
I guess
just like a next level, like funded by certain backers, and definitely gets so. But it starts as a gallery. That's kind of the coolest thing. Like Gagosian or other galleries, like even the Courier started out because they just create collections and collections, and then you get more people to realize that you're taking care of art. Even Pillar does have a collection of prints and stickers, and we do like to make sure that artists can continue to keep their work up and open, even if we don't have an exhibition going. And then that just kind of compiles over time, where we're looking into doing a fundraising show. So we're looking into having some of our artists donate work to us. So, and then that starts to build collections for collectors that are kind of, those turn into museums. Which is kind of interesting to see the evolution.
Okay, gotcha. It's almost like going from, if you take from a small gallery and he goes to a museum, it's like moving up from like minor league to big league sports,
exactly.
right? Like that sort of thing. But what I want to say is, like, you go through and you'll be in different wings or different, and there's themes.
Yes.
Like usually if you stand in the middle of the room and look around, it all kind of makes sense and it all goes together, and it's a cool feeling. And then as you're reading the descriptions and learning, what the artist was thinking, or the history behind the piece, or what the time period the artist was from, whatever it is, it's all kind of cohesive. So there's definitely an art in that alone.
Definitely. Yeah. It takes a lot of research. I'm currently actually in school right now, and I'm pursuing a degree. I want to go for curatorial studies as well, because I'm so passionate about it. Back in the day, it was actually called aesthetics. So I think that's interesting. And since we're on something for real estate, I think about that with staging too, because sometimes people will use art to like enhance a space, and it makes such a big difference. And it can make a big room look even bigger, or a small room look big. And it's just so interesting to see the perspectives. Our gallery was so small, and we called ourselves a micro gallery. So we're hoping that with the next space, we're going to be able to have a larger space to kind of do more, and be able to be kind of like along those lines of museums get all different rooms. But with galleries, you have to kind of choose one exhibition, one dedication for that time period. So like right now it's printmaking. Our last show in the physical space was Currents, and it supported the changing atmosphere of our oceans right now. So it was kind of interesting to see how each show changes. And the show before that was a big group exhibition, where in a 200 square foot space, we got over 100 pieces of artwork hung. So
That's a lot of ones.
So that required a lot of like math, a lot of time, a lot of thought behind it. It's not just throwing it up on the wall. And that kind of separates you from certain spaces. It's
funny that you mention staging and art. I got my real estate license in 2018. It was a buyer's market then. Then 2020 hit, and it just got out of control. It's New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Manchester, New Hampshire has been in the top 3 markets in the country for like 3 years.
What's like the rate? Like, what's the percentage of available homes right now?
So I know with rentals, it's been an under 1% vacancy rate. We don't really go on percentages per se with purchase inventory.
Yeah.
The last number I saw, and actually I'm a slacker, I haven't checked the June numbers. They just got released, but the May numbers, they go by months of inventory. So it was 2.1 months of inventory, essentially. But that number is really skewed, because if you go and look at, anything that's been on the market more than 2 weeks, it's either in the worst condition possible, not move-in ready, or it's in a location that most people wouldn't want to raise a family in, and especially paying these prices, these rates, or it's just way overpriced. It's a seller that just, hey, can I get this amount?
Yeah.
So it's like, for real inventory, for the buyers that I actually work with, I would say it's way less than 2 months worth.
Yeah.
To be considered a normal market where you'd stop seeing rapid appreciation and it's kind of an even playing field for buyers and sellers, that you'd say there's 6 months of inventory.
Oh, wow.
So we need to triple what's on the market to get there. And, different, they say sometimes 4 to 6, so even double, things might be more normalized. And once you get beyond 6, that's when you start saying it's a buyer's market. I just don't ever see it happening in New Hampshire in like my lifetime here.
Yeah.
You never know. I always say this, it's like the whole economy could crash. Our governmental system as we know it could fall apart. So any sort of wild event could happen. But if we stay on the same normal trajectory, I think New Hampshire real estate is going to be low inventory for a long time, and the prices are just going to keep going up. And and this has happened with high interest rates too.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
it's, I try not to make this too much of a real estate podcast.
No. I
It's
just
funny.
wanted to bring,
It's like, that usually.
I know. I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I mean,
just in terms of us looking for a gallery too, looking for commercial spaces.
Space is different. Commercial kind of, and actually when we get, it might be way overpriced actually, but I have a thought for you when we get off. I don't want to bring it up because it's kind of it's somewhat secretive, but anyway, not really, but they wouldn't want me broadcasting it out to the world. Anyway, so but yeah, commercial space during COVID, like, I mean, it just fell apart because everybody was working from home.
Well, that's where we had the opportunity in the first place, is that the co-founder and I, when we first started, we had this opportunity to have a space that was open to us because there wasn't a lot of things going on, and all the galleries in Concord had closed down at that point. So it was just nobody really doing anything. And then we kind of heard murmurs of other things happening. And then it was like, we popped up, another gallery popped up, and then it just all started popping up. So I think that sometimes, like, I'm just wondering what's happening now in the market, because it's like if you're not able to keep up or make your artists pay, which is kind of a principle of Pillar that we don't really want to do, then it kind of puts you in a weird position in this market right now. A lot of galleries are going through that.
An art gallery can kind of be in any allowable space, right? You don't necessarily need like...
That's why we're looking at the satellite spaces.
You don't need first floor storefront, like specifically. You could be on the third floor of a building with no, like, an interior entrance with no signage. Like, you could kind of be anywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, having signage on a busy street will get you more attention, but it's like you can kind of go anywhere, right? And I think there's so much office space that just emptied out. And I don't really work in commercials, so I don't know exactly what that looks like around here. I know a lot of, like, the Brady Sullivan building downtown Manchester, they converted a lot of that to residential.
Yeah.
After all the office spaces cleared out. So you're seeing a lot of that. So I don't know if that space is shrinking, but I do see, like, every once in a while I'll deal with a commercial thing. I try to refer it out if I'm not comfortable, but every once in a while it's pretty basic and I'll help somebody out. And when I do that, it always seems like there's stuff that just sits for a long time.
Because honestly, with a gallery too, you kind of want a space to have a little bit of type of personality, or you don't want a space to have too much. So it's just kind of like a balance right now. And honestly, it was kind of a whirlwind. We won Best in New Hampshire last year, and we just had so much going on. We did 9 exhibitions, started a festival in Concord, and it just was a little explosive. And with it just kind of being now reduced down to more, like a smaller work team, I just kind of am taking the summer off for the first time in a few years. So it's kind of nice. And it's making me think about what are the long-term goals, because a lot of other galleries are kind of facing the same thing right now. And we're all trying to just figure out,
and that same thing being
satellite spaces, moving around,
hard time finding permanent space.
Or just, do you want to be tied to one state? Like, or is it more interesting, like Tiger Strike's Asteroid, they have multiple satellite spaces, and do I want to do something like that? Like, do I want to go over to Vermont? Do I want to open up another space in New Hampshire? What is kind of the next step for me? And
I feel like that gives you so much flexibility if you just stay that way, and you can, no permanence. You can just kind of go where the winds take you, which is a great thing artistically, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what you're feeling, go for it. And
I'm really into vending machines right now. So, like, I'm modifying a vending machine to be an art vending machine. So that's like my next little
so
project.
You could purchase a piece of art, a small piece of art from the vending machine?
Yeah. So I'm just trying to, like, develop the, like, tech behind it and making sure that everything works, the art doesn't get damaged in the process.
Yeah.
And just trying to make it accessible art-wise, price point, and so that's kind of something.
Machines that will brew a cup of coffee and then lower it without spilling it into a slot that you can grab it. So the technology's got to be there.
It does exist. It's just about putting it into my little machine that I have right now. I already have a machine. It's just about just making it work, and then kind of what I want to do next with it. So but it's nice to just be able to have the flexibility, take the time off, see what I want to do next, and also kind of get back to my own art as well. And, curation is something that I take really seriously. So I'm back in school, I'm studying, and I think that is also important for the longevity. Debating if I should do a writing piece. I'm talking to a hotel about doing plein air classes. So there's just so much more that we can do than paying exorbitant amount of rent to one singular space for maybe a few openings. Classes we can do, but that's
requires. And a lot of these commercial spaces want 5-year leases now. And
that's,
in an artistic business, like creative businesses, that's so hard to commit to. You don't know what the ups and downs are going to look like. I mean, in any business, it's very hard, but there's some more predictable businesses that can move into those 5-year leases, and it's not as scary. I want to take it all the way back because I started to talk about this and then we got talking about the real estate market as a whole. But I would say, like, I licensed in 2018 and I've just worked in this extreme seller's market. Once 2020 hit, it's just been houses are, if it's a decent house, for the most part, it's easy to sell if you do the right things. And staging is not something I've thought a ton about. I've also worked in the lower end of the market. That's just kind of my people. I have a blue collar background, and a lot of my clients have always been first time home buyers. So like a lot of the houses I'm now selling are like clients I helped when I started buying their houses, and now they want to upgrade or move or go to another location, whatever it is. And but I never thought much about staging. I just had a listing in Bow where it was a mid-century modern build or design on the inside. Outside, it would look like a regular split level, other than they had sliding windows like they had in the mid-century there. Mm-hmm. But the owner was really obsessed with Frank Lloyd Wright.
I was gonna say, I was gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Talk about the curator. They have that Frank Lloyd Wright house, and she had this when she was a kid. The original owner, who had passed away, I was working with her daughter, but she had the scrapbook that she made with a kid. It was like her dream house scrapbook.
Oh wow!
And she had cut pictures out of magazines of like kitchen cabinets and like the tub, and you could take those pictures and hold them up in the house, and she got exactly what she wanted in that house from when she was a kid. It was pretty neat, but her daughter, but it was still very dated. I mean, there was this crazy multicolored carpet through the whole house that was like really distracting, and there were a lot of but it's like all the older stuff was very well maintained, and then her daughter kind of refurbished a lot of it, but then also put new flooring down and new paint and some modern touches, but left some of the old style. But she really leaned into with her decoration. She bought pieces specifically for staging, which it was like a $500,000 house. We ended up selling it for $530,000, but around $500,000. But that's kind of the bottom of the market in Bow. I was like, you don't have to go through all this length. You don't have to go out and buy art pieces to hang out. That's like way over the top.
It's also kind of like, it's also probably like a way for her to memorialize it. Yeah.
100%. That was her big, like, she's a lot of the stuff she did. And I told her it was almost a year process talking to her before we sold her. She's like, I want to be a good shepherd of my mother's house. She cared so much about it. She grew up there. She was, I want to pass on a product that my mom will be proud of. I want to leave some of the personal touches. So a lot of what she did was part of her healing process and part of her, just nostalgia and feeling good about herself and what she was passing on, which is great to work with somebody like that, because most people, it's just, I need this amount of money now. That's it. Unfortunately, in real estate, it's a lot of death, divorce, health issues. And that's, the stuff you see on Selling Sunset on TV is not the way it works. It's a lot of bad reasons for selling houses, unfortunately. But this was such a great experience because she curated it like a museum. She had the Frank Lloyd Wright, like coffee table book, like on a shelf. She took the basement. Had a finished, it's split level, so finished big basement room front to back. And it was all bookshelves, and her mother loved to read romance novels. She had hundreds and hundreds of them, and she like color coordinated little piles of books and put them staggered on the shelf, and with like one leaning at the end in this like perfect way, and she like.
Is it bad that I keep my house like that all the time?
That's all. I mean, if
I get anxious. My bookshelf is like, I have a floor to ceiling bookshelf, and it's like rainbow colored books, like in order.
I'll tell you, I mean, I would have never thought before I worked in real estate that makes a difference for everybody. Like, that's not just your quirk. Like, anybody walking in and seeing that, they feel better.
Oh yeah,
Like,
so many people are like,
comforting. It's a comforting thing to see that level of organization. I had one seller open her pantry, and she had like all these cans of dog food. Every one, the label was turned
just so.
But it was when did the open house, everybody that came through, asking about condition and maintenance things. And I just opened that pantry. I go, you think this lady doesn't take care of her stuff? Like, look at how she has these kids. She's obviously taking care of everything, So it's like all that stuff's good, but it's like I've just working in this hyper seller market where, you're getting, for a while there, I had the listings, I got 20 or 30 offers on them.
Yeah, so, no, it was just like selling it like hotcakes. Like,
so I never really thought much about the station, but then working with this woman, I was like, even at this lower price point, it did make a difference. I'll never know if she got more or less money. I mean, there's no way to really quantify that, but it did. I mean, everybody that came in, they were just like, this is so beautiful. I even took my parents came to visit. They live about 2 hours away. I took them to look at it. Just like, they're not ever going to buy it, but I was like, come check this out. I had to go turn the lights off at the end of the day anyway.
Well, it's just beautiful to see people take the time. And I think that when people even talk about, the old times, anything like that, they're talking about people who've taken the time to craft and curate their life around them. It was like everything from cars to, your coffee mug to your stove was taken care of in an artistic and cared for craftsmanship way that I feel like our society has lost and we're trying to chase. And I think as a curator, it's kind of my responsibility to bring that back. And I find that with this satellite space opportunity, curating in a mansion is totally different than curating in a 200 square foot space. And so it's so cool to be able to use large pieces and really see how I looked up at the architecture of the space, and I looked, because my grandmother's been in real estate since the 70s. So she built her own houses, and she kind of passed that. She's a painter as well. So she kind of passed that eye down to me in a way. So I'm looking at the architecture, seeing the way that it plays off of the prints and seeing the craftsmanship that is taken in even the hinges at Kimball Jenkins, and seeing how that reflects in the art pieces.
Air railings. This is so incredible. Like, you'll never see anything like that in a modern house.
Yeah.
Even the most high-end ones, nobody goes that level.
Exactly.
Curved walls.
Yes.
When they were just, so it's so much harder now with drywall. I don't know if it's harder, but it's just.
It just is
it
time.
Really with plaster, it didn't matter because you're just smearing viscous thing onto the slats. So it's like, you could make a curved wall very easily. You just don't see it anymore. Arches and, built-in shelves. So many cool things from those old houses. Now, I don't want to buy an old house because I don't like the work. Like, I don't like when you have to.
Well, yeah.
It's always like a pain. I owned a house built in 1783. Actually, so I bought. We thought we were talking before. It didn't look like it was from 1783. Unfortunately, they had gotten rid of all the old charm. But we were talking before we started recording. Your gallery space that you had was actually below my apartment that I moved out of to move into that 1783 house.
So wild.
Yeah, it's such a weird. I've been running all these weird coincidences lately. My friend, I just brought some up to a friend of mine. He goes, "You got to stop doing mushrooms." But I was like, "No, really. There's all this is force drawing me to certain things right now. I don't know." But yeah, so. Yeah, the older architecture and the design and the detail that they went into is just something that is lost, and we need art, and I used to not realize the importance of art. I used to think of art more as just like a fun thing and not as something that's important to us. And my friendship with Nick here has actually been one of those things that's kind of led me in that direction, because like I was just always so like mechanical, like this is the story I want to get out. This is the information I want to get out. This is the message. And he gets hung up on, like, I try to get him to do more TikTok and reels and stuff. And he's like, I hate vertical video. That's an ugly way to look at video. That's the worst way to make a film. I'm like, yeah, but the attention's there. Go get it.
Some people have just been doing it where on TikTok, they're just like, just turn the camera. And they just have been posting their landscape stuff, but vertical. And so people are just like turning the camera.
I did that in the beginning of reels, and I a couple times, and just didn't. it didn't seem to take like
It depends on what the content is, though, obviously. Like, if you're, usually I see it with like festivals or like group things. So it's more like cinematic and a certain, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But TikTok is kind of strange, you know, where I don't know. It's definitely interesting.
It's definitely strange.
I'm in like a TikTok jail right now, I feel like.
Nobody's seeing your stuff?
Nobody's really seeing my stuff. And I have like 20-something thousand followers.
I wish
and
I could explain it, but I can't figure it out because I will have clips go crazy and then the next day 100 views.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, why don't they like me? I do think like TikTok is great because it doesn't feel as gatekeepy as some of the other. It's like anybody can just have success on TikTok, where it's like Facebook and the Meta products are more of a grind of Instagram mainly is what my age range. I was just talking about the episode I released the week before we're recording now was with my wife, and we were talking about it on how like she was making fun of me about how I don't see the trends early because I don't scroll TikTok. I'm on Instagram. She's like, she's 6 years younger than me. So she's like, you're the old guy. But I'm like, that's literally what it is. Like Facebook is the boomers and Gen X. Instagram is the millennials, which is my clientele, like is 50 millennials. And then TikTok's, the Gen Z and younger. But she's like, you don't see the stuff.
You see the Instagram reels like 2 weeks later.
6 months after I see hers, I heard Then I told her I get all my information first on 4chan. I'm way ahead of everybody. We joked about Reddit as well, but I was saying like I think Nick brought up Reddit actually, and I was like, no, Reddit is before it's cool. You don't want to be there. You don't want to learn about stuff in Reddit. You gotta wait.
Is that the new level?
I don't know.
We're back to 4chan.
It's just
my God.
I actually have never been on 4chan in my life. I just know people think it's funny. So I have no idea what's on 4chan.
Well, that's where I'm like,
it sounded like a nightmare.
4chan is gone. It's not gone.
Completely
not
gone.
what it was.
Oh, yeah.
But that's where I'm like, am I?
Not it wasn't my day.
Well, it wasn't just porn, but there's no like. It used to be like you had like all the brony wars and all that shit going on over there. Now, right? Oh, it's kind of like none of the cultural significance of 4chan is there anymore. It's just
the cultural significance of being a brony.
It is what it is. There was a time when 4chan is culturally significant.
And I hate knocking anybody's stuff, but the brony thing was always crazy to me. I used to play very competitive Magic the Gathering, and there was a unicorn or what's the big unicorn thing that they all love? The original, I don't know. But anyways, there was a card game that surrounded this brony world.
Yeah.
And they would come in and play tournaments in the same space. And I'm like, I try very hard not to be a judgmental person. And I was like, what's up with these guys? Like, what's going on? Why are they so into this children's game? I'm creeped out.
I feel like that was one of those things where someone was like, oh, this cartoon is cooler than like, or it's like more adult or whatever than people first realized. And then everyone was like, you're a piece of shit. And then he was
was it?
And then felt like they had to double, triple, and quadruple down on that, and then it became
now that you say that gives me much more empathy for these guys, because Magic was kind of the same thing. People would always be like, why are you playing a kid's game? I'm like, do you understand how complicated this
no, Magic is really complicated, and the art behind it is stunning.
The brony thing got so bad, unfortunately, they had to have their own separate like you weren't allowed to post brony shit in any of the other boards except for the brony board, because they would do it
segregated bronies.
People were getting socks. People were getting swatted over it and shit.
That's a crazy thing. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it here because I don't want to put that into the world. But I don't live stream, so
the laws of swatting are much more extreme than they used to be. It used to not. You wouldn't get.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop a 13-year-old.
No, that's true.
Yeah. Anyway, Nick, get out of this conversation. We're here for Fallon today.
Right.
I've been trying to get Nick to get a mic, and he's like, I'll just take over. And clearly, that's what he does. So where were we? Oh,
we were talking about TikTok. We were talking about algorithms.
I wanted to get back to your own art. Because we were talking about the gallery and the curation. What mediums are you working on and interested in?
Yeah. So working as a curator and working as an artist kind of started in tandem too. So, the art kind of came a little bit further, but I am a painter and a ceramicist. Those are my two top mediums. But I call myself a media artist because I do a bunch of different art. But it kind of started out where I was doing art for myself because all my friends went to art school after high school, and I actually started working in real estate, and I was working 9 to 5 while all my other friends were getting to go to school, and I was stealing all their syllabuses.
Were you
and then
9 to 5 in real estate?
Yeah, yeah.
Like an admin role? Or?
Yeah. So I was doing that, and then I would get back home, and from 5 to 1 in the morning, I would be taking all my friends' syllabuses and teaching myself art. So I just kind of like,
I love that.
Taught myself a bunch of art, taught myself oil painting, acrylic painting, like all this different types of stuff. So, and then I was like, well, what do I do now? And then I started to get gutsy, and I walked around places, and I was seeing like really bad art around. And I was like, hey, can we switch this up? Like, this has not been changed in years, all the years I've been coming here. And so I just started to put my art into places. And then from there, it just started growing. And around this...
Like taking a piece that you made somewhere else and putting it there? Or like painting their spaces?
So a multitude of things. So I either would do murals. I've done a mural for Ben and Jerry's. I've done a mural for like...
In Manchester?
That was in Hudson. So... It was like so it was for the camp. So it was for like the Bernie campaign. So when they were doing, so it was like Bernie and Ben and Jerry's. It was like an interesting like promo like for the Bernie office at the time, and like Ben and Jerry's was sponsoring that whole office, and yeah, so they were collaborating. So we did like a Ben and Jerry's.
One of the guys just got dragged out of some congressional hearing in cuffs. It was crazy. I don't like to get too political here, but like I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, what is happening?
Crazy. But anyway, so murals, putting your stuff in spaces.
Yeah, so it just kind of snowballed from there, and I wasn't doing art for a little bit. So with having some time off, I've been able to get back to doing so much art. I just got back from a week of a plein air class up in the White Mountains. So that was so nice.
Plein air?
Yeah. So it's painting outside.
Okay.
That's all it is French for, is just painting outside.
So painting landscapes. And
yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. So it was so fun to just sit out in nature, have my paints out for the whole day, and just kind of hang out and learn a little bit more. And took a ceramic class. I finally have a studio to work in. So now I'm producing ceramics again. So it's just kind of nice to... Sometimes I always hated that saying, like, those who can't do teach. I'm always like, I don't know, those who can't do curate. Like, that's what I would say to myself sometimes. And I'd be like feeling down about myself. So I don't know why, but
I think they're like any of those absolutes like that are just untrue.
Oh, totally.
It's like, because like I might not be best suited as a teacher, like say in real estate. I do pretty well for myself, but I don't necessarily know how to translate that to everybody, but I can teach some things.
Yeah.
You don't want to be, I shouldn't be somebody's only source of learning.
Yeah.
But I can teach somebody through something. I wouldn't make education my main business, but it's like, we shouldn't be so absolute. It's like, you can absolutely, there's a scale, a spectrum of like this much curator, this much art,
Yeah. And I used to, or I still do in so many ways, but go into absolutes like that where it's like, oh no. And I was teaching for a while, and then curating for a bit because I was teaching painting classes. So it was just, I've done so many different things that it's kind of nice to take some time off, really see what my interests are right now. And I'm in like this
actually does ceramics encompass?
So I'm mostly a wheel thrower. So I like to sit on a pottery wheel and kind of like ghost moment, like build, like take a mound of clay and have the wheel spin and kind of build from there. So that's kind of my preferred method.
So if you are willing to teach again, my daughter is about to get a pottery wheel for her birthday. I would be interested.
Oh, really?
In having her learn from somebody, because I have no idea.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about the pottery wheel. Yeah, there's a lot of different things, but yeah, no, it's definitely always interesting, and I do love teaching, and I think it's so cool to pass down things. But it's been nice to kind of be back on the wheel because it's a muscle that you're like continuously like building. And if you're off it for a while, you're kind of like, oh, what am I doing here? But it's kind of cool. I have a sponsor, Penguin Pottery, and they sent me over glow in the dark glazes. So I actually have glow in the dark ceramics, which is really cool. So I just try to do really experimental things. All of my work my focus is more on like ethereal, like astronomy, observation of the natural world in a way with my meditation. So all my art kind of has that vibe with it. So it's mostly, earthen colors for my ceramics, or tried to go dark with kind of the cosmic elements of glow in the dark. And yeah, so it's interesting to watch your art develop over the years and see, where am I going with this? Because I really don't know.
And do you sell your stuff places? Do you take commission work? What's your actual business part of the creation?
Yeah, so there's two different sides. So with the gallery does take commission for pieces that we sell, and
I meant more.
And for
you get commissioned to do.
And then for my own personal artwork, I have projects like I'm going to be doing a mural in a few weeks. So part of that money goes towards the materials, and then the rest of it goes towards me or my travel time. But yeah, it kind of depends on what the project is. Some people do commission me, or I build a body of work, have an exhibition, and then they purchase from there. So it really depends. I'm kind of everywhere. I haven't really decided where I want to be yet, but it's kind of fun.
Do you ever really need to decide where?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, some people are strict. They're like, no, I'm a gallery artist. That's all I do is make paintings, make my own paintings and sell them. And I don't know. I kind of like the flexibility of working with people.
Yeah, I think it's great to just keep options open, and I can't. It actually shocks me that it's almost 8 years in real estate because I can't stick with anything. I mean, I did work at the same company for almost 12 years before, but we did a lot of different things, and I bounced around at different parts of the business. So, but I don't stick with things. I'm like a chronic hobby switcher. To see people stick with things and get super good is incredible to me, because I know how quickly I'm just like, okay, I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And then
this year I did the math of mastering things, and I think this year I'll finally hit 10,000 hours for mastering painting. And I'm so excited. I'm
just literally thinking about that this morning of 10,000 hours of podcasting is 10,000 episodes at the rate I do them. So what's 10,000 weeks? I don't have enough time.
That's a lot of a lot of weeks. That's a lot of time.
I don't think I have the time.
Just do long format ones.
Yeah, I was like, can I just start doing 3-hour episodes a week? It already feels like a little bit of a full-time job doing the one a week that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that's awesome though. You get to that point. I think that really is true. I mean, there's probably
it'd be 192
years. 192 years. I'll still be
around. Wow.
Wait, you'll still be here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not dying young.
You're a specimen.
Yeah. I should we have gym equipment out here because this building used to be a CrossFit gym.
Oh, interesting.
I should immediately when you leave get on that treadmill out there so I can get to my 192 years. So what's next for you? What's the I know you keep saying I don't know where I'm going with this, but is there anything specific that you're working on now? Are you doing the festival again or?
So the festival, we are doing it every other year just for longevity's sake.
What was that festival called?
So it's the Sound and Color Festival.
Okay, I went there.
Oh, you did?
That's where my daughter used the pottery wheel.
With Ren? Oh my God, that's awesome. That's a Potter's Guild.
The person that was there, but I remember her.
I helped to set that up.
Yeah,
that warms my heart.
Yeah, we had a great time. So she does piano lessons at Concord Community Music School.
Oh, awesome!
I think that was how we knew that was going on.
Yep. They're partner.
No, it wasn't actually. No, because she hadn't started yet. I think we found out about them there actually.
Oh wow!
But anyway, and then we went. There was the community players were there, and they had costumes. They gave her a park ranger costume that she took home, and she still plays. I'll be doing something in the house. All of a sudden, I see her walking around playing safari or zoo tour guide or something in the house with her. But I have pictures of us trying on a bunch of different costumes because they had adult size ones too, and some matching ones. So we had a great time at that. I think we spent 4 or 5 hours at that. That was a good event. That was
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's so funny to have no idea where you are. I realize that I've actually done stuff that you were involved in.
Yeah. So I was kind of the art side of things. I helped to organize the sculpture garden that was there, and kind of help out with the music that was going on for the nighttime. We had kind of like a nighttime light show with music. So that was a lot of fun.
I think Mr. Aaron performed.
Yep.
I'm a big
Aaron.
Mr. Aaron fan.
Love him.
He actually, after COVID, he unfortunately had to give up his space where he was before. But he was
Rattlebox Studio.
Yeah,
Yep.
but he would continue to do the Rattlebox stuff at Kimball Jenkins outside.
Yeah.
It's so funny how it was all tied together. But
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Nick, if next time I'm looking for a guest, remind me about Mr. Aaron.
Yeah. He's great.
He's a children's performer. He's incredible.
He also does his own performances too. He used to be Bozy Joe. And he actually performed at a few openings for when I was doing independent stuff. So he does like kind of like electronic work, and he does guitar.
I always forget to mention when I talk about him that he does stuff that isn't just for kids.
Yeah.
And I think obviously he loves doing the kid stuff, but I think he sometimes is like, man, I really wish.
I think he likes having a beer.
I think people would lean into my adult oriented stuff.
You light up the way I just saw you light up Mr. Aaron.
Oh, he's great. He's so great.
It's like his wiggles.
So they're yeah. But the thing is, he's not corny like that.
Oh, no.
Like
He's fantastic.
His children's songs.
It's good music.
I mean, some of them are a little too kiddie for me, but other ones are like, I'm like, this is great. And like the classic kids songs he does them in a way that aren't like preschool-ish. They like sound a lot better. But he's so interactive. Like his shows for the kids, he hands out at one point he'll hang out a bunch of like shaky type instruments, the rhythm eggs and maracas and bells and stuff like that. Then he'll pick all those up, and then you'll hand out different percussion instruments like rhythm sticks and these little mini drums and stuff. And then he chases the kids around with it's a tenor saxophone, I think. I might be getting that wrong. And it's fun because everybody sees it and thinks that's a clarinet. So he gets to teach the kids about a different kind of instrument. I really like, so interactive, so good with the kids. He always remembered my daughter's name. Every time from day one. Every time we walk in, if we didn't go for a month, he'll walk in, oh, hi,
Yeah, I've been working with him since like 2018, 2017, maybe. Yeah. So he's been.
That's my daughter was born in 2017.
Yeah.
I started bringing her there around when she started walking. So about the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. He's great. So it was a great festival to organize, but it was a lot to organize because there was so much going on. Yeah. And we had so many different like elements, and we would rather for 10 years run 5 festivals that are really, really amazing, that people are like, oh, we want to spend 4 or 5 hours here, go to the performances, see the different people, participate in the activities, versus trying to do something every single year and burning ourselves out, especially given all the other projects that all the organizations have going on. So we're still meeting. I just had a meeting last week about it. But yeah, we're still meeting, coordinating, seeing what's next for that. So that will be probably sometime in 2026. But I'm working with like a handbell group right now, and trying to get a handbell festival going in the spring. So just doing different projects like that, working with different groups of people, seeing like what they're up to and seeing like what their niches are, and just learning a lot more about different art forms. Like, I didn't know that handbelling was 365. Like, I didn't know that.
I couldn't tell you. I'm sitting here going, what is handbelling? I'm trying to figure it out.
It's like when you take like handbells and you like ring them, and like people do like full performances with them. But yeah, like it's just working with different groups of people. Like, it's so interesting. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I really want to get the vending machine up and going. I have an opportunity to make like a little mini art gallery in a phone booth. So just getting some help with that. I think my biggest thing right now is honestly kind of getting help with projects. I think that's the biggest thing, is having so many projects and having so much to do. Just even having sometimes another ear to lean on, or people that are excited to have their hands in something else. Because it is a lot to, and for the festival, there's only, less than 10 of us planning that entire festival. So it's just a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, it's a big,
we shut down Main Street.
It was big enough that you had a shuttle. You had the trolleys from,
and we had,
forget where they're from.
Feathered Friend. So it was like trolley to Concord Music School, Feathered Friend, back and then back to Keach Park. So it's just like we try to be really inclusive, and that takes a lot of planning to be able to have that, the grant writing behind everything as well. So there's just so many factors that people don't see behind like an art event. And a lot of times people kind of dismiss art as just, oh, it's just a cute little fun thing on the wall. And it's like, that actually takes a lot. Like I'm also in sign making. So I know what it takes to make even signs on the wall. And it's like, it actually takes a lot of planning to think about the installation, even getting it right, how you hang something. Like, there's a debate right now with the way people's heights have changed in the past few years. Is 60 on center really the best standard of gallery hanging? So it's like, it's so weird to see how things change. So I'm just trying to like see, and curating in different places is
I drive my wife nuts, because when I go to events like yours, I'm always talking about the logistics of it. Because like I said,
Get on our team.
really a big visual art guy. So to me, the fun of those events is like, how'd they arrange this? Like, just thinking about how do you go to the city and have the street shut down? Like, the trash pickup that
come on our team. We will show you
small things.
Hey, seriously.
I may be interested. Especially since you're a year out, because I'm in a moment where I'm like, I cannot take on another thing.
Yeah. 2025 is booked. Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's
booked and busy.
I have like 3 or 4. I mean, I haven't even filed my 2024 taxes. I mean, that's like the least of my, I don't care. Like the least I file an extension, I'm legal. Don't come arrest me. Then we fire a bunch of IRS agents. That should be okay. But yeah, no, I love, it's amazing that people throw that together, and people do take it for granted though.
Yeah.
You always, social media is so toxic with that stuff. It's best to just ignore the negative, but it's if you read the comments, it's like, why did they do this? Like, this was stupid. And then whenever they happen in Manchester, they shut down the street. Everyone's complaining about the traffic issue.
Even though they brought in $14 million apparently with the fish. Yeah. With the fish stuff. And so
it's like you should be encouraging more of that. Shut down the street.
Market days.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Market days is an amazing event. Been going on forever.
Yep.
Concord gets it. And I think the people of Concord get it too. I think
in some ways, in some ways, no.
There's always going to be.
Yeah.
State just tried to cut all funding to the arts. They didn't end up doing it, but they ended up cutting.
They cut it all the way down to $1.
Yeah. And then
$1.
They did do it or they didn't. They did end up doing it.
Yeah. I think it was official that it's like cut down to $1. So it didn't
like literally $1, like per
$1.
$1.
Just so they couldn't.
I can triple check that fact, but
I believe they ended up they got enough feedback that they pushed back against it because AOT was going to fund it through the governor funding, but they ended up cutting it on the next level up. I don't remember.
Yeah, I have to download.
They didn't cut the direct funding. They cut the people above them. Above like that funds the art council and some of the other things, they cut the funding to that, I believe. So it's going to trickle down to the arts funding. But I sent an email to my rep that was like, I've looked into it, and there's literally never in history been a society that benefited from cutting its art funding.
Oh, definitely.
Every time you cut arts funding, it's usually like the fall of a nation.
Well, I think I mean, a lot of the reasons we know about a lot of these ancient cultures is just from their art, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, it's some like, carvings and
like pots art
or cave, even going back to other cave paintings. Like we were in Belize in February, and was that in Belize or was that Aruba? I lose track. I'm spoiled. But anyway, I remember going to a cave, and there was a park ranger happened to be there and was pointing out all these cave paintings. Like, what wouldn't we know if there wasn't art? What wouldn't we know about those cultures?
If you look at the flip, there's actually like it's shown that for every dollar generally invested into like public art is return of $1.50. So it actually makes money.
Yeah,
art almost across the board in almost every situation makes money, and it being cut almost across the board hurts.
Well, the other thing is like a lot of these things that are now. I mean, I'm all for let's not waste money. Like I don't think anybody says let's waste money, but like these art programs or any other of these things that have been attacked lately are small, very small.
Oh, they're like less than 1% of 1% of the budget. And now we are officially, New Hampshire is like officially the lowest funded, art by the government in all of the United States, which is just like, oh, cool, we have that badge. Like, and it's just a little hard for someone who is trying to be a leader in this industry. You know, I'm one of the younger one of, if not the youngest gallery owner in the state. You know, it's hard, like Best in New Hampshire, like created a whole category for us to give us the award. And then I don't even know if they gave it away this past year. So it's like, because it's one of those things that like people aren't pushing themselves to a certain place. And then they're wondering why people are running off to places like New York City or LA or other spots. And then those places get overpopulated. And
I was just going to say stand-up comedies, I think I follow big time and dabble in, and like the oversat. I always like, I'll go down to New York City. I've done it a couple times, gone down to open mics down there. And I look at these people, I'm like, you should have cut your chops in somewhere that isn't so oversaturated, like first, before, because people will just be like, I want to do comedy, move to New York City.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you go to you go to an open mic, there's actual audience members because there's not as much to do. But in New York City, no one's going to an open mic that isn't a comedian or like direct close friend or family of the comedian that just happens to be hanging out with them. So they're only doing comedy to other comedians that are in a very niche, like you need to be able to make everyone laugh, right?
But I feel
so I feel like if they had done more in their home and then relocated to where there are more bigger opportunities, they might be doing better. I don't know if that's the same in
it is definitely the same in art. And I think that that's kind of the issue right now in the arts, is that in certain places, there are certain calibers of, you know, curation tending to how they want things done. And, you know, not saying that everybody can be an artist, but, you know, you really have to work and want this story, want this, you know, message to get out there in a certain way. And for a curator, there's a mathematic formula to be a good curator. Like there is a whole like formula that you follow. And I do take that, you know, into account, because it's not just like an opinion, because even sometimes good art, I might not like it sometimes, but they have worked and they have tried and they have a story that like maybe I don't fully understand yet. And so I think that there is a balance of like figuring out what is, and I think that that's my job right now with Pillar, is to figure out like how I can make like the best band of, you know, artists and have a good roster of people to be able to show together and show in other places. Then we can, you know, travel around and have other satellite spaces, because you have developed that trust. But I think that's only happened because we've taken that time to like really think about what we're doing and not just throw up our art on the wall and just say, oh yeah, that's fine. But like really study these people, study what is happening in, you know, the current atmosphere, what people are wanting to see on their walls or in festivals, you know, wanting to participate in. Not everybody just wants to go to a festival to just walk around and look at other vendors. People do want to try a pottery wheel. People do want to dress up, and that
the interaction's very cool. That was something that is huge for me, especially with kids. Having interactive stuff is so cool. That's what made that festival for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Was like, oh yeah, I hope they do this again. And I've completely forgot the name, or like, there's always so much going on in life.
There is, yeah.
Hard to keep track. And I also, you know, people, it's so, where it's easier to get your message out with social media, it's also easier to get lost in the shuffle of every, you know, it used to be, you knew what was going on in your town. Like if there was something like that, the kids would have gotten a flyer at school, or you would have seen just.
And that's what we want to work on this next year. Yeah, is like really.
Yeah, like it would be hyper local, you know. But now it's like, I know I do this on a Saturday morning, and I'll just go to Google it, events in New England.
Yeah.
Right, and I'll just see everything that's happening. I'll pick what I think is the coolest thing, and we'll go. But like that didn't happen 30 years ago. You know, you just really knew what was in your local area, or, you know, if you knew somebody somewhere else, they might tell you about something, but it wasn't, you know, now where it's like, if something big happens, people can come from anywhere. So the sky's the limit, but it's also, you got to find how to get out of that. Like you said, you know, you're getting beat up on TikTok, despite having a lot of followers. Like you got to figure out how to break through and get the word out, which I think it seemed like it was well attended.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I think we
I
did.
think you accomplished that, but
Yeah.
there's so much room to grow where you're getting such a big spread out event like that too.
And we'd rather, with everyone being so busy all the time, with so many projects going on, with so few people doing the work, the boots on the ground of being the people, showing up to the boring meetings, figuring out how much certain things are, or, with curation, figuring out certain, what are the logistics of picking up the artwork, transporting it, making sure that this stays safe, making sure that this is hung in a certain capacity. Is it magnets? Is it this? And then just really taking the time to do it right versus just churning out events or things that could happen. So like right now, we are doing another event at Kimball Jenkins for First Friday in August. So you can come check out I think we're going to be having food carts or food trucks, and we're going to be doing other events. And the cool thing about this exhibition is it's called On Off the Wall because you can actually take art home for some of the work that we have. So we have some work available that you can purchase and just take home right there versus waiting the entire length of the exhibition, which is sometimes a turnoff for people, or some people are like, oh, I can't really touch the art. So we wanted to make it more accessible because I think that is like the most important thing in the arts, is not making it like a nebulous, like monster creature, like, ooh, I'll never be able to participate, but making it something down to earth and exciting. So I think that this time away allows me to see and hear feedback, hear what people are excited about, hear what shows are people's favorite from Pillar, hearing the love for the Nano show, or hearing a love for one of our first shows, Flora and Fauna, which had like a bunch of funky, like alien kind of felted pieces. So it's fun to see where we can kind of take things next. And yeah, what's of interest?
I'm definitely excited for it. I hope you keep going forever, every 2 years because I live in Bow. I'm planning on being there until at least until my daughter's out of school. And I love New Hampshire. My wife doesn't want to leave her family, so we're here. So yeah, I really hope it keeps going because we did have a lot of fun, and I was really impressed with everything you did. And yeah, can't say enough good things about it for sure. This is something that just came to my mind at some point, but are you seeing, and I feel like in my whole life we've been saying this, but in this like current political landscape, with all these scary world events that are happening, do you see that people want art to maybe inspire change, or do you see more people wanting art as like a distraction, as an escape from?
I think both.
It's both things.
I think it's both. I think that, and it's great to see some artists. One of the artists in our show right now, Rachel Gross, she has these gorgeous abstract pieces she has wood blocks that are cut and then printed. But then she also has a whole wood block cut of someone being taken away by ice. So, we don't have that in the show, but we have the other ones. And it's not because we don't believe in her message, but it's because we believe in both messages and they need to be in other places because that piece needs to be somewhere. She has another purpose for that piece. So,
right. Yeah. So if you need bigger exposure.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that even the same artist can do a multitude of work, and it just really depends on the space that it needs to be in, because I think it's important to just get people out there no matter what that they're doing, whether they're making something that is, more politically driven, or even sometimes just seeing cats paint. Like I saw a whole thing of like cats painted singing songs today, and I was like, that just made my morning. Like just seeing stuff like that. It's
I will anytime I'm on Elm Street in Manchester where the cat alley is. I'm like, I have to walk down and look at it. It's like I've seen it 100 times, but it's like I just noticed they had painted a few years ago cat prints on the crosswalk there, and that's faded.
They updated all of that area, and they're going to be doing that every few years, where they put rounds up for artist calls, and then they're just going to keep adding to that.
And I remember everybody on all the Manchester Facebook groups flipped out. Why are we spending money on this? You didn't. It was privately funded, or whatever it was.
But it's also one of those things, like, wouldn't you want people, like,
I agree, but,
to take pictures of stuff, to take pictures of it with your city? Like James Chase does such a great job of like, showing off Manchester in a way with his murals and with stuff. So I think that it really depends on what you're.
Which murals are.
So James Chase, he's run a few programs, the Arts Build Community program. So he was the reason why Manchester got a bunch of murals, I think last year or 2 years
There's
ago.
one, like the side of the Rex and like
The one on
of Bridge in Elm.
Yep.
There. Okay.
Yeah. So that's not his mural. That's Keith Trahan's mural, I believe. But he helped to organize some of the murals. He has the mural on the river as well. The mural.
Steps.
Yes. Yeah. So it just, and
That's great because we go on at 293, look across, you're like, wow, what a fun city. If you're just traveling from Boston to the White Mountains, or,
Yeah.
you know, you gotta, you're use the Boston airport to get anywhere around here. You travel up that way. You
Yeah.
see that across the river. Like, wow, what a cool city.
Yeah. And it makes a statement in a way. I think that sometimes having good art in places curated well makes a statement that my city is worth investing in. And my city, like, because now we have so many people coming up taking different homes. We have, homes being built really quickly for apartments. And it's like, give back to the city, give back to the culture that is here. Like, we need more fun things to look at. Like, we don't just need another like brutalist McDonald's.
I call it the architecture style of gentrification, unfortunately. And it's like you go, I travel quite a bit. It's like you go to Nashville, you go to Charlotte, you go to Austin. It's like all these buildings look the same. And Atlanta. I mean, I was with my family, and I was like, my daughter goes to bed pretty early, and I was like, I'm not ready to go to bed. And I just went out on one of those bird scooters around Atlanta. I found this block that they were just flattening. I mean, just flattening everything.
That breaks my heart.
And I go to the next block, and it's this, this architectural style that I'm talking about that you recognize in all these cities. And I'm like, oh, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's going to be all these condos that look just like every city. And it's sad because that's the fun, that part, like, why travel anymore if everything looks the same, Like, I love going to New Orleans, and, I forget the name of the street where all the jazz clubs are, but, not Bourbon Street, the actual jazz clubs. But you walk around that area, and like, there's a specific, these second story decks that wrap, the whole block, and they've got the wrought iron railings, and it's like, I just saw a house like that in Bedford.
But that inspires art too. Like, that inspires someone to sit down, have a cup of coffee at your cafe, and be there for hours just like painting something. Like, I think that that's why people are drawn to certain places, is because like they have like such a unique beauty to them. And I think that we're stripping that away and then being like, oh, well, we're just void of culture, and then just like churning out the same stuff. It's like, we are responsible for the culture that we're creating. Like, even if someone doesn't agree with my exhibition, for printmaking, I try to include as many different types of art that I can. I try to include diverse, thinking, mindsets, backgrounds, everything like that. And I think I'm just trying to do my best. And I think that if anyone does have critiques, it's like, well, what are you guys doing? Like, where's your hand in the pot for putting up artwork and trying to make a statement to do something different? Because when we think about Andy Warhol, or, different times of like, even something like Woodstock, it's like that took time to plan and people were behind that. And that's something that even the culture of them coming into it with, I don't know, their own artwork, their own painted stuff. And I don't know, it's just, people don't see that it's the community around you that's actually building the creativity.
I think that's probably ultimately the most important thing, is because you can have 100 artists just creating stuff in their basement, their garage, whatever, their own studios, whatever it is. If no one gives them a place for it to be viewed and seen, it's not doing anything. And then obviously there is a personal, benefit to creating the art yourself. I'm not taking
But that helps your mental health. And I think that in today's day and age, that's like huge. And you want, there's a great gallery that I'm like working with right now, Mosaic Art Collective. They're in Manchester. They're on the second floor, and they're doing fantastic things, with not having a storefront space, trying to include as many people as possible, trying to do a lot of shows, but it takes a lot of effort and a lot of thinking and coordination.
And it's good that we have people still willing to do that. You're also talking about the regional, architecture and regional art and stuff like that, being inspired by a place that looks different, those things. I was just had a guest, that was a couple months ago now, but our main focus was music in that episode, and talking about how there used to be, we were big into the hardcore punk scene. And when we were growing up in it, there were regional sounds. Like, you could tour around the country, it was different. Now that's gone, like, because, and not to say that all those sounds don't exist, but it's like they could happen anywhere. And like, a lot of bands are like amalgamums
Amalgamating.
into the same, including all those styles, which is great too. But you see a lot of that going away as we kind of become this smaller world, and it's good to actually, have differences and not have everything look the same. And as an artist, as a curator, you can drive that for sure, which is awesome. This is longer than my average episode.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's good. It's been a great conversation. It went by super fast, considering we knew each other not at all until
Except for you lived at my gallery.
about an hour. Yeah, that's true. It's about 20 years of separation, but I did. This was a great conversation, and I was nervous about it because in the beginning I was like, I know nothing about art. How can I even have a conversation
Oh no,
about art? And it went well. So I'm happy and proud of myself. I'm gonna toot my own horn. But you were an amazing guest. It was awesome. What do you want people to look for? How do you want to be found? What do you want to promote?
Yeah, so definitely first and foremost, please come to First Friday at Kimball Jenkins in Concord, New Hampshire if you're around. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be the exhibition going on and a really fun event for you to participate in.
And that's the first Friday of August?
August, yeah. I think that's the second. Let me just double check.
I think I was going.
No, it is the first. Yeah, August the 1st.
I have something going on Saturday the 2nd.
Yep.
So
Yep. So August 1st, First Friday. So please come to that and follow Pillar Gallery on Instagram, Pillar Gallery Projects. You can follow me by Fallon Rae. So you can also see what we're up to. Look at all of our past exhibitions. We have 9 exhibitions. We even have like a little tour that you can go through on our website, pillargalleryprojects.com.
The current exhibition is still open at Kimball Jenkins.
It's still open
through August
15th.
Okay. So
so they're open and there's classes as well.
This is probably 2 weeks out, so by the time you're listening to this, there's not much time. Get up to Concord, check out that gallery before you miss it. Thank you so much for coming in, and best of luck. I can't wait to get back to your festival next year.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.